And welcome back.
Welcome back. So here we are, and we have one more panel for the day. It's all about storytelling. And if you are to ask me about some of my favorite community initiatives, I think Skrift and 24 Days In are two of the really, really favorites of mine among the community initiatives. So we couldn't not have them for the day. So can we have the panel? Almost. Heng says almost, so just stay tuned.
Hey! And look at that, we've got Jan and Chriztian together. Amazing.
Amazing.
Chriztian didn't get the memo. It's not GitHub Tuesday. I like the hoodie though. And Jan, it almost looks like you've just slipped that on over another t-shirt you were wearing.
Pretty much.
That's commitment.
Not very on brand. Hey Erica, hey Janae, how are you both doing?
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. What time is it for you? Sorry, it's early.
It's 9 a.m.
Oh, it's 9. That's fine.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Okay. So I think we should start off with some introductions. Which team you represent, and if you have other team members, probably mention them too. Should we start with Team 24 Days then?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. I'm Chriztian.
And I'm Jan.
We have Lotte Pitcher and Blake Watt and Paul Seal and Dave Vostenbox as the as external members. They're somewhere out there. Thank you.
And your team 24 Days in Umbraco, you are, well, currently in season what? 10, 11, 12?
12.
We are currently running a very long, again, season of articles. So yeah, it's been a while now.
Yeah, it's I think it's season 12. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's been going on for quite a while, and we've gone grey as you can see.
Amazing. Team Skrift, let's start with Janae.
I'm so sorry. My 16-year-old cat is screaming in the background. She just does that sometimes, so you might hear her.
Included.
She does. She really does want to talk to me right now, the minute I get on a call. I'm Janae. I am a part of Team Skrift. We've been running for 8 years now. I know 24 Days has been running for 12 because when I put together the newsletter, I put 12 years in there. So I know you've been running for 12. You're good to go. And I'll also introduce Kyle, who's sadly not here today because he's currently on a train to the airport, but he is here in heart, wishes he could be here.
My name is Erica, also part of Team Skrift. That's all I have to say, I guess.
So yeah, Skrift, you've just reached 100 issues.
So yes.
It's eight years. It's doesn't quite match up with the number of issues, does it? Because you've done sometimes where you've done December. You don't do December anymore, though, right? You get a month of celebrating 24 days.
Yeah, when we first launched, we were doing December because we just thought we're a magazine, we should do that. And then we thought, this is dumb. There is another initiative that has all these articles, and it was always a challenge for us to find people. So we're like, why aren't we backing them? And it's been a great decision to do that. And you'd think we'd have a month off, but actually, I think Janae and I do more work in December for promoting 24 Days.
We definitely do more work in December than we do the rest of the year.
It's nice that the community can, center around one initiative, though, for that time. That's great.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. I look forward to those emails personally, so love. So it's all about storytelling. So should we ask them their story about storytelling?
Yeah.
Should we start with Team Skrift now then?
Where did you start?
Yeah.
How did Skrift come to be?
Yeah.
Wow. Janae, do you want this one or do you want me to?
I think since you kind of were the person who started the brainstorm, you should tell it.
Okay. So back in 2014, the company that Janae, Kyle, and I all worked at, that's how we met. We our company launched the US festival. We called it U-West Fest, trying to capture the whole Western hemisphere because we know we have friends in Canada and we know we have friends in Mexico, and we were trying to bring them along on this journey with us. And after our first successful one in Las Vegas in 2014, we Kyle and I were sitting around one day going, how do we keep this momentum going? Because the US is absolutely ginormous. And we do not have the concept of cheap flights like y'all do in Europe. So how do we get people to come out? How do we get them to convince their bosses to let them come out, fly somewhere in the US for a one-day conference? And how do we keep this momentum going? So we kind of took a page from a List Apart and an Event Apart book. I don't know, last time I checked, a List Apart stopped publishing articles, but I don't know if they're back. I don't know if they're still doing events, but we kind of tried to model it off their concept of that, and decided to launch a website and launch a newsletter where we could try to rally around all the regional festivals, and then also promote the diverse voices around the world. At the time, Twitter was like probably one of the best places to kind of get plugged into this community, but the amount of people on Twitter only represented maybe a small percentage of people who are actually in the community, and that's still true to this day. So just trying to bring about another platform of people to be able to share their experiences, what they're learning, their perspectives, their point of view, and try to make it more global. And I will add on to that, it's really hard to, Janae and I are based in the Pacific Northwest in the US. We do go to Skovgaard almost every year, and some of the festivals, and that's how we meet people to try to pull them in, but it's hard to find people outside of that. It's hard to find people in places in the world where we know there are people, but it's hard to try to figure out how to meet them and how to convince them to write.
We've had the exact same challenge with this. We want to represent as much of the global community as possible, and it's so hard to get hold of even people in the US, where we know there's active community members to come along and do a talk. And I know this is a shared pain that the 24 Days team have as well, so I'm sure we can talk a bit more about that.
Absolutely. So should we move on to Team 24 Days and hear their story about storytelling? And Chriztian.
Yeah. I guess we started in 2012.
Yeah.
The year before that, I'm pretty sure, and the year before that, Umbraco HQ at that time was Niels Hartvig and Pierre Plow.
Yeah.
They tried to, I think both years they tried to create a Christmas calendar.
I think it was actually only 1 year.
Yeah. And they made it all the way to the December 24, but not with posts every day. But I like the idea so much that
they kind of stopped halfway or something like that, and then the post just stopped coming. And it was a shame because it was a good idea, and it was all these code snippets that was just really handy. So like, oh yeah, you can do this, and you had so many epiphanies.
Yes. I think the idea was to actually create a blog in Umbraco, and one of the things I loved was that one of the very first posts was Pierre trying to say that we cannot do anything before our dev environment works and all that. So the first couple of posts was just how to get this working so that when you press a button, it all builds and stuff like that. So then the year after, I wrote to Niels and Pierre and asked if they were going to do it again, because if not, I had an idea to ask a bunch of community members and hear if they had a short story or a video or something Umbraco-y to put on and create something every day in December. And then I'd reach out to Jan and asked if he would help me, because I'm pretty sure that if there's not someone else who says, oh, let's do this, then it's very easy to skip a day or something.
Yeah, it's really been beneficial that we kind of kept each other going, because nowadays we are much more organized in doing things, even though things are still going on in the engine room. But back then, we kind of had to come up with some quick solutions, sometimes overnight. But I actually think we've managed to have something for each day in December for 12 years. We have never missed a day, even though we have been pretty close. You're
better than the Hartvig and Pear Plug combo then. You managed.
Yes.
You made it past day 12. I was going to just quickly ask the 24 Days team as well. Another little bit of history. What's 24 Days in photography?
Okay, so the reason it's called 24days.in was because my idea for the very first year was to have 24days.in/Umbraco, in/XSLT, in/JavaScript, whatever somebody would write. Somebody along the I don't remember if it was the first year or the second year, but my brother, whom I work with, Nils, he's a photographer among other things, and he asked me, can I use the engine and create a 24 days in /photography calendar? And he had one going for I think 2 years or 3, and he had there was some cross pollination between, because he became good friends with Douglas Robar as well, so he had a few posts there as well. So I think that's almost also 24 days of photography stuff in those posts, but it's available from the top domain. So the engine is actually built to handle something like that. There was a year someone contacted me and asked if he could have a 24 days in Sidecore. And I told him yes. If you come with a bunch of authors, we'll put them in, and you can write the articles. They never managed to get anything done, but I thought, why not?
He was expecting a license fee or something from you.
I'm sure Jeroen could do 24 days inside.
Probably, yeah.
Sure. That's a really interesting piece of history. That's excellent. And Neil still contributes to the 24 Days series now. I believe he's doing the DALI art contributions.
Yeah. So last year we revamped the whole thing, installed Umbraco 10 from scratch, and created a new site with a lot of help from Lotte Pitcher, one of my favorite developers these days. She stepped in when I say, Lotte, how would you do this? Oh, I don't know.
That's a great Lotte impression.
Yeah.
That's
she does
uncanny.
that. And one of the things the in-house designer who created the design last year, he came up with this together with my brother to do AI art for the posts, and they created a bunch of prompts and artworks and we ran them last year. So this year I had a completely different plan, and that didn't plan out. So plan B was, I said to my brother, how fast can we make these? But he had already made them, because the idea this year, and I don't know if anybody's spotted that, but this year it's the exact same prompts. It's just another engine. So last year was DALI, and this year it's Midjourney. And I have my opinions on what I like best, but I'll keep them for a later date. And we will try to make some kind of way to do some APing on the images, but we're making the articles do the talking for now. So.
But 8 years,
Yeah.
24 days, every single day we've had at least one article.
Yeah.
And for me, it has always been like opening that priced advent calendar on every day morning. And I look forward to this time of the year and now that the website actually resembles an advent calendar, it's almost like, what secret is behind that? So I'm pretty sure there's a lot of effort that goes on into this plan. So let us talk to Team Skrift and find out what actually goes into the whole planning and having an issue every month.
Yeah,
and of course, we'll circle back.
With 2 authors and
absolutely
flaky authors like me that turn stuff in on time, don't turn stuff in on time, that sort of thing. Yeah.
It's okay, Callum. We'll keep your secrets.
It's no secret. It's fine.
There's a lot that goes in every month, starting with the hunt for authors and because we refuse to be complacent and always seek out people who've always written for us before. It really is a hunt. Sometimes Erica and I have sat in a Zoom meetup going through LinkedIn looking for people we can cold call that are people we've never heard from before in the Umbraco community. We don't do that all the time, but it does happen. And we have gotten responses from it. Definitely, like any type of messaging like that, significantly less than the amount of messages you send, but it has fanned out a little bit. Usually we get most of our feedback from meeting people at conferences. We meet a lot of people that way, and we try to get new voices. But we do 2 newsletters a month, so it's not just about the issue. It's also finding like the mid-month content where we find we try to highlight festivals more than anything else, but also other events and important things like 24 days that are happening in the community. And then Erica puts together Instagram posts for everything too. And we try to get our authors to give us videos. So there's a lot of social media stuff. It happens like 10% of the time, maybe.
I would say like 2% of the time. Somebody makes a video, which is interesting. And I get it, because I don't want to make videos either, except for those are the posts that we get absolutely hands down the most engagement with. People love them, and I totally understand that it's hard to put yourself out there on a video, but I'm only asking for like a minute. Say your name, say what you wrote about, that's it, and like people totally love them. So still trying to work on engagement there. We got one from the first Richard Jackson, who was just on, he did a video for the first day of 24 days, and it was fantastic. So I don't know. We like to dream big and fail big too. So we keep pressing on.
You've got the work of tracking down authors. You've got then actually reviewing the content and getting that put up in time. You've got the promotion of that, which might be in videos, Instagram posts, your social media posts as well, and you have your mid-month newsletter. So there's a lot of work. There's
a lot of work, as well as new ideas like Instagram stories. I started seeing them this year primarily, I think, more than last year. So there's clearly just not hunting authors and then doing the storytelling and post. There's just more the traction and the passion to keep things going.
And planning the content. So like, this article will hit best when it's done in 2 months' time, because it's just after a new version release of the CMS or something like that. Or actually, we've got another very similar topic right now, so maybe we can wait a couple of months on this one. I guess.
Yeah,
that all goes
even if you have 2 topics which doesn't match up for a particular month, bringing in something that's probably a better match. There's a lot of work to be done. And I think similar planning goes into 24 days as well, because it's non-stop 24 days of articles. So what do you do about it?
What do we do about it? We try to become better organized, and I think that over the years we've actually improved quite a lot, and it helps that we now have an extended team, and the help of Team Skrift as well is really much appreciated, because we haven't really had any efforts to do our own marketing in the way that Skrift helped us do. So that's just amazing. So I like to see them as a part of the team as well, because they really are, which is awesome. We can totally relate to what Janae said about hunting authors, because that's also what we used to do, like keeping an eye out for new names, new faces within the community. But it's really hard to do. And now we've tried to promote the application form, which also makes it a bit easier for us, even though we still reach out to people that we think could have something interesting to write about, and then it's just easier to point to the application form and say, if you're interested, please fill out this form, instead of having to email or tweet or whatever platform we're using back and forth about all the details. And once people have applied and they get accepted, well, then the fun begins of setting up Basecamp and keeping track of who's been notified about being accepted, and and who's gotten access to the back office, setting up the articles, and then when all that is done, well, then it's a matter of, okay, who has actually delivered something that we can start to review and process and give feedback and make the article ready for publishing. It's I hope it looks smoother on the outside than it necessarily is on the inside. I mean, we are half past, we're almost halfway through, and still we are doing reviews. But it's also something that tells me that we as a team has improved a bit, because we are more thorough in our reviews nowadays, and since we have a larger team, and some native English speakers on the team, it makes a better quality in the end, because we have done some technical reviews and some grammar fixing and suggestions about other ways to express something that might you can describe something in a way where it's really long, and then we can maybe shorten it down to keep it short and concise, which is easier to grasp. So yeah, quite a lot of stuff going on in the engine room when we are running this. Yeah.
The types of content.
I would also like to add in there. I would also like to add in there, just for anybody who's thinking about writing for either Skrift or 24 Days. We both have very robust editorial processes, especially if English isn't your first language. We don't leave you hanging out to dry. Like, we want to produce quality articles, but we want it to be something that you're super proud of as well. We are an official magazine. I got us an ISSN number. That's repetitive, sorry. N stands for number. But you know, like, we want you to have your best work out there. So we don't, if you're nervous about your grammar, your English, or whatever, we help you with that. We handhold you in this process, and 24 Days does as well. So we want it to be a positive experience for you.
I was going to say that the types of content that you publish has changed quite a lot over the years. I think if you look back at the very first edition of 24 Days, it was maybe in some cases, one sentence, here's a code sample, enjoy type thing, which has a lot of value. And you go to now, and especially Skrift, where it's much longer form content. I think you're typically looking for about 1,500 words, aren't you, for your articles, 12 to 1,500. And 24 Days, I can't remember what your guidelines are, but it's been a while. But some people have said they love the older, shorter format. Some people like the new one. I think recent 24 Days articles, you've included videos and people just showing how to do something instead, different mediums. So what's your views on that? How do we, keep content going in some different ways, perhaps?
Well, I mean, I think we've actually always encouraged that people could submit a video if they didn't feel like writing, but it hasn't really appealed to that many until now, I think.
No, there was one, the very first year, there was one from David Conlisk. Yeah,
that's true. And I think maybe Jeroen did
maybe
a video at some point.
It hasn't been many.
But yeah, so we try to encourage different ways of submitting content. And 2 years ago, I think Paul Seal had this idea that we should try to make YouTube posts of each of the entries. And we did that for 1 year because it was Paul and Lottie reading up the articles in YouTube and then going over some of the code and trying to what do we call it? Expand the reach of the articles. I don't know how many people actually used that, but that was also quite time-consuming for both Lottie and Paul, especially.
And a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's not in vain, because on the old articles where there is actually a video, there's a little link that says this article has audio/video.
Yeah.
It's still there.
I remember that.
And then I think we've never really been strict about content length. I think we used to say that, if you really need a guideline, then a minimum of 500 words, but it's not something that we have been that harsh about. It's just nice to see people wanting to write more and more. But I think with some articles, we might reach a point where it might make sense to like do a double issue. So you have part 1 and part 2, for instance. But yeah, that's something we're discussing about for the next season.
But the very initial, the very first year, it was a big secret. I kept it on the wraps for. I tried really not to let anybody know anything. And the thing I sent out to all the contributors was that it could be whatever they felt like, but it would ideally be something I envisioned people reading on their commute to work, just sitting there on the train, just reading these 5, 6, 7 minutes of something nice, some neat trick, or how to do a better employee picker in Umbraco using some smart package or something like that. But nowadays it's generally if you want to read it yourself, if you like reading it yourself, it's probably good. So.
Team Skrift, do you have any views on content length, how that's evolved over time, different formats? You mentioned that, different ways of promoting, etc.
It's fine either way, Erica. Content length is ironically something that we have had mostly the reverse problem with. Usually we get something that's in between 2,000 and 3,000 words. That's like our general average. And then we either have to pare it down or suggest maybe it should be a series. We have no problems with series. We encourage them. If someone wants to write multiple articles on the same thing, we've done that more than a few times. But we do also have a little bit of like a different process than 24 days as well. 24 days is authors enter their own articles into Umbraco. That is not the case for Skrift because we have like quotes and special formatting that we want to use and everything. We do all of our article entry, and Kyle's not here, but he's the one who does all of the editing and all of the article entry for us. So he handles all of that piece of it. And I think that video is great and I love it in short pieces, but it's not definitely the way we want to go for Skrift content, because we want parsable things that people can take text snippets from and things like that. It's important to us that technical articles are there to support things like videos or like presentations.
It's fascinating that you've all got the same challenges, but maybe slightly different in all cases. It's just, incredible work. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We could keep this conversation going for another half an hour, I'm sure.
Easily.
There's so many, fantastic things that you're all doing and working on. But I guess call to action: write for Skrift, write for 24 days, make their lives easier. Submit your ideas. Go check out 24days.in/UmbracoCMS, Skrift.io. And celebrate the work that these wonderful people and their collaborators as well are doing.
Consistency is again the key here, and you all have been really, really nailing that part.
Yeah,
very, very well.
Thank you all so much. It's lovely to see you, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Okay, so in 10 seconds, we're going to be back with a very exciting guest. Stay tuned, because Scott Hanselman here will be here to answer your questions just after this.